Good morning from the Northern Territory. So, I left my car door open just in case I need a quick getaway. Good morning from the Northern Territory. So this was the campsite that we ended up in last night. We couldn't see it when we arrived because it was so dark, but look, it's okay. It's a free stop. It's got restrooms, bins. It's quite pleasant. There's loads of space here. Everybody's been well spaced out. So, yeah, worked out okay in the end. Bit of a sketchy drive to get here. We saw one on Wiki Camps first that we headed to, and it was not very nice. So we had to drive on another 50 kilometres to find this one. And not very happy driving in the dark in Australia, because that's when all the animals come out. And I heard of cows on the side of the road. So I just took my time, just went slower than I normally would, and kept my eyes out. Anyway, we got here and we're fine. Now we're heading into Katherine area. We're heading for Nitmiluk tonight, and we're quite close to the road. But it's okay. It's okay. We're just pack it up now. So I will see you when we get to Nitmiluk. But as always, if I see something interesting on the way, well, stop and have a look. So we just made a stop on this bridge overlooking Victoria River. Now, I read somewhere that Victoria River had the highest concentration of salties. You can't get across the bridge, it's locked the other end.
You're not allowed to cross it.
So there's just this walkway and this bit, no, you're not allowed to cross it. It's huge. Can't see a croc.
I got me photos.
Look, the size of it's huge. No crocs though.
Down there.
Oh, shit.
I'm just going to look at that.
Stopping here for a bit. What is that big poop there for?
Goes very Jurassic. Oh, it's a big an old trail.
So we just pulled over at the old river crossing. Definitely keeping my eye out for crocodiles. Quite a rough four-wheel track down here, but this is the old Victoria River crossing. That's really beautiful, isn't it? Look at the scenery behind. If you go fishing, be bloody careful.
So if you go there, if you go down there, you can see the thing that goes across.
Oh, so you can drive across it? I don't think we will. There's a great big hole in the middle. Oh, I don't think we'll risk it. So it's like you can see the road come in. Oh. There's a reason it's not being used anymore. But how beautiful is this in the whole scenery? Definitely worth a stop. I left my car door open just in case I need a quick getaway. That track was ropey. Looks like people have been camping down here. Look, they've had a bonfire. Wow. Right, so afternoon. We are now at Nitmiluk Park. Took us, I'd say, about 5 hours to drive from where we stayed last night to here. It's about 500 kilometres from Kununurra, but of course we did about 70 last night, so about 430. And we had those couple of stops on Bradshaw Bridge and the Victoria River Old Crossing. So we arrived at Nitmiluk. We're in this campground here. It's not bad campground. We're a bit on top of each other in the powered sites, but we gave me a powered site because I paid for a family instead of 2 adults, and I did that, so it just upgraded me. It's got a pool, seems like a very nice pool, and showers and toilets. They're okay, a bit spidery, but I can work around that. Now, we arrived here just after 2, and we are going on the 4 o'clock gorge cruise of Katherine Gorge, which is something I always wanted to do, even though I'm very tired and I could do with a nap. I really could do with a shower. We're off to see Katherine Gorge on a cruise. So I always wanted to do a Katherine Gorge cruise, so I am looking forward to it. I'm sure I'll perk up once we get going. So I'll take you along with us and we'll see how that is.
Welcome to Nitmiluk National Park, home of the Jarwin people. My name is Landon and I'll be taking care of you this afternoon. Just in case you are a little bit unsure, you have found yourself on a 2-hour two-gorge cruise. Now what this means is we're going to be jumping onto 2 separate boats. So we'll head up the first gorge as far as we can before we stop by a rock bar. We'll then do about a 600 metre walk into the second gorge, where we'll jump onto a second boat. Now on that walk there's about 70 odd steps spread throughout it. We do also pass some Jarwin rock art.
So, as you may have gathered, we are on a boat tour of the Katherine Gorge, and that was the first gorge. The guy started talking before I could introduce it, so he probably gave you more information than I would have done. Excuse me, just on the first gorge, and now we're walking up to the second one.
This is an old Jarwin campsite, not a sacred place or anything, so you can take photos of the paintings up there. That whole set of paintings have been dated to be about 10,000 years old. It is quite high up. There are a lot of rocks that have fallen down, so 10,000 years ago the area could have looked a little bit different. May have been like a rock ledge or something for them to stand on. But the Jarwin belief is that that figure in the middle did that set of art. Now that's a Mimi spirit. Mimis are an Aboriginal creational being. They had powers where they could extend their bodies to the size of this tall tree here, or shrink themselves to the size of a toddler. There's good and bad Mimis. The good ones are associated with teaching us how to live off the land and do paintings. And the bad ones are blamed for disappearances and stuff. We know that one there's a Mimi spirit because it's painted with 7 fingers and 7 toes. its ears are also pointing down. Humans are painted correctly. They've also got all their parts. To the bottom left of that Memi spirit, you're going to find there's another figure with his hands up in the air. Sort of has like a football for a head. Now this is a man wearing a ceremonial outfit, and he's just got a headdress on. And we know it's a man too, because if you look close enough, you're going to see why. To the bottom right of that Memi spirit, you're going to notice there's that kangaroo looking figure. Now this is a rock wallaroo. They live within the gorge here. It's kind of rare to see, but you do see them every now and then. And we know it's a rock wallaroo because the mouth and nose have been rounded off. Wallabies, they got a pointy nose, and so they're painted with that pointy nose. If you look close enough too, you're going to notice there's a joey in that wallaroo's pouch as well. Underneath the Memi spirit, you're going to find there's a big circle looking thing. Now we don't know what this is. It's believed to be an animal that's gone extinct. There's a fair few extinct animals that are painted out on Jawoyn country. Examples being the thylacine, or the Tasmanian tiger. There's also a very big emu bird looking thing as well. I can't remember what that one's called though. To the top left of that Memi spirit, you're going to find there's two faint stick figures. A very faint one on the left, and then a more noticeable one on the right. Now this is a man and a woman, and we know it because, well, even though they're not painted with their parts, we know it from the items that they're carrying with them. The very faint one on the left, it's a woman, and we know it because in her left hand, you're going to notice there's a bit of like a teardrop looking thing. Now that is a dilly bag. They're made from the pandanus leaf. They're only made by the women. So that's how we know that one there is a female. And that more noticeable one on the right, it's a man, and we know it because in his left hand, you're going to find there's a bit of a line going up, a bit of a circle at the end of that line, and then a bit of a line going through that circle. This is a bondok, which is the Jawoyn name for a woomera, or a spear thrower. We use these spear throwers to get a bit more leverage and power when we were launching those spears. The way the paint is made, there's 4 colours, and they're made with 3 different pigments. The colours being red, yellow, white and black. And the pigments being ochre, kaolin and charcoal. Now, the term ochre, it applies to iron oxide or hematite, which provides the colours of red and yellow. Kaolin, it's a white clay that you can find in the riverbeds and the creek beds. And then obviously black is made with charcoal. To make that paint, you crush those pigments into a powder and mix them with things like water, tree sap, animal fat. If you're using the red colour, animal blood to make a nice vibrant red. It's very important when you're making that paint that you get the consistency of it right, and you also use all those binders.
Yeah.
If you're only to use water with ochre, you will do the painting, and when it dries up, it's going to become quite flaky. It won't last very long, it'll just fall off the rock. If you were to use all those binders, but the paint was too watered down, you do the painting and it'll drip on the rock and ruin it. So it's very important you get a nice thick paste and use all those binders. The tree sap, it really allows for that paint to stick to the rock. Now, ochre, it consists of very fine grains that are capable of penetrating the surface of the rock and then really staining within about 6 mil of the rock. So this is why you find the oldest paintings are always done with that red ochre, because I guess it's sort of like a tattoo.
Yeah.
What's happened is it's seeped into the rock and became a part of it. So if you were to chip away at the surface of those paintings there, you're going to find there's still paint within about 6 mil of the rock. The yellow ochre does it to a lesser extent, whilst the white and the black doesn't do it at all. It just sits on the surface of the rock, and over time, all the humid air, wind and sun disintegrates the paint, and it just falls off the surface of the rock.
That was interesting, wasn't it? So I shared the whole story with you. Now walking to the second gorge. So we're going to be turning back now and heading out back up the two gorges and at the end of the tour. Really interesting, wasn't it? Because we're so used to walking gorges, we don't get to appreciate it from down here. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. And we'll be moving on again. Thank you, bye.